I think Australia is a fair country. They give all the people the same opportunities. If you work hard, you definitely will get what you want. That's Australia.
On Dirty Linen, we are always interested in restaurants, of course, but we are also interested in the educational journey of hospitality professionals. And it's something we've touched on over and over again, just this question of whether the training is fit for purpose. Today's guest is Jimmy Wang. He is the founder of the Okami Group of Japanese restaurants, which can be found all around Australia. And he's recently founded Oakleaf Education Institute, which is training the next generation of hospitality professionals. Jimmy, welcome to Dirty Linen.
Thanks, Dani, and very nice to talk to you. And it's my pleasure as well.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure too. So, Jimmy, you're the CEO of, two really interesting and quite, I guess, different but complementary businesses. Can you tell us a bit about Okami Group, first of all? Yeah,
Okami is providing all-you-can-eat Japanese restaurant at the moment, and we have 40 restaurants nationwide and growing as well. And we try to bring the metro history to rural Australia too. And at the moment, we are a little bit hard for finding the staff, so that's why. And we have an idea for getting our own training schools.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, it's so can do. I love it. And yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, you've got more than 40 branches of Okami around Australia, including in rural areas. Can you talk about the particular challenges of staffing in once you get out of the cities?
The first, the difficulties is about the Okami restaurant setup. Because at the moment it's very hard to find the place, and also once you do the renovations, the construction always delays because of the COVID, and all the material price increasing as well. So at the moment, everything, all the costs goes up, and for the staffing, wages keep increasing because of the shortage of staff, and the people always asking for the higher price when their skills not reach to our standards, and also that's a struggle for the owners as team members as well. And for the pricing, is about the restaurant, all the costs, all the materials goes up as well. So that would be too hard for us, and to getting survival.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, costs and pricing is something we've spoken about a lot on Dirty Linen recently, and those pressures, I suppose, come from all sides. I mean, are there any, because you've got a number of restaurants with consistent menus, are there any, I guess, economies or cost hacks that you've been able to implement that have helped make things stack up as a business?
Yeah, the lucky thing is we have our own center kitchens, so we can getting the stuff from farms, local farms. So that's why we can still get a good price as well, and also all the food, and we have the center kitchen to do the pre-prepare. So once we send to the restaurant, it's easier for the chef to do all the preparations. So that's why we can cut some costs on the staff wages.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I'm looking at some of the restaurant locations. I mean, there's restaurants in Sydney and Melbourne and Canberra, but also Albury, Ballarat, Bendigo, Wagga, like destinations, Dubbo, all in different places. I mean, I wonder also about the logistics of getting these partly prepared foods to those more remote stores. I mean, supply is something a lot of people are talking about. Do you manage that yourself, or are you reliant on logistics companies?
For the state to state, we're using the logistic company, but for the city like Sydney, Melbourne, and Canberra, and we deliver ourselves. We try to keep the food in fresh.
And I mean, I know we're speaking to you at the moment. You're in Tokyo. What sort of, how do you sort of place Okami among the restaurants that you see in Japan or indeed other Japanese brands in Australia. Do you feel that you're offering an Australian spin on Japanese cuisine?
Yes, but we cannot say our menu is not that traditional as a Japanese food. So we have some like developers for the Western people's taste.
What sort of dishes?
It's like beef carpaccio. The beef carpaccio is actually like an Italian dish, but that's use the raw high standard beef and with some ponzu sauce, which is Japanese sauce, and we try to keep these dishes as fresh, and also how to say is as we use kind of like Australian ingredients, like we use the Australian beef to do the Japanese taste.
Yeah, so great. I mean, I know that in Japan, there's such an embrace of food from all around the world with, I mean, the Japanese version of Italian food is so fascinating, Japanese version of French food. So it's, really, really interesting to, the way that you're creating Australian Japanese menus around the country here.
We actually have the Japanese chef in our center kitchen. He is a person to design all the menus. So he tried to combination the Japanese and the Australian people, which the taste maybe keep the balance with.
Yeah, so interesting. And I guess when you've got all those different branches, consistency must be such a big focus for you. Is that one of the reasons that you have the central kitchen?
Center kitchen is since we can keep the standard. So we cooking all the sauce in the center kitchen and we deliver it to all the different restaurants. But we try to keep all the taste as the same.
Fantastic. So let's talk about Oakleaf. Tell me about the thinking behind creating your own education institute.
Okay. Be honest, at the beginning, I just want to work out the staff shortage. Because during the COVID, it's too hard to find the staff. And, the staff always comparing with the wages with the others. So that's why it's kind of like big challenge for us. So if we want to real sustainable the solution for the staff shortage, I think we need to have our own training place. So that's why I have the idea about the Oakleaf educations.
And I mean, so you're obviously accredited. You're offering Cert 3 in commercial cookery, Cert 4 in kitchen management, a diploma of hospitality management. And tell me about the work placement that's offered at the end of the course.
Yeah. For the Oakleaf, who studying the Oakleaf, the educations, we can guarantee their work opportunities. And also we provide, because we have our own commercial kitchens, so we can train them at a real place, and we can teach them in the right set of the skills. So they will be ready to go back out of the workplace and contribute to supporting the society as well.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel that Asian cookery is not as represented as it could be in the current educational institutions?
Yeah, of course, we are welcome to all students who wants to be spread their wings in their industry. So that's why we are not only prepare for our own restaurants, and we also as welcome for the chef is starting probably having the skills in the other countries as well, like Vietnamese food and Thailand. And also we have a cooperation with MasterChef as well. And they probably can do the master class with these students, providing them the different tirade of explore to the real world of hospitality.
Wow, that's so cool. So, Jimmy, what's the response been like?
Because I have the same background with them. I'm studying the uni before, and because our family have some financial problems, that's why I study the cookery as well. So at that time, I finding the cookery is very hard to find a job, and also once you want to graduate your schools, you have to get 900 hours working hours. So that's why what I can do is I can support all the students in Oak Leaves. I can help them to get more opportunities.
And has the response been good? Do you find that you're getting students who are making inquiries and enrolling at Oakleaf?
Yeah, I will try my best.
Okay. I know that international students were added about $40 billion to the Australian economy before COVID. Obviously, that tailed off considerably during the pandemic. But students have started to return in great numbers, especially now that the Chinese government is requiring students studying overseas to actually be on campus. Are you noticing more students returning to Australia?
Yeah, at the moment, it's for higher education that will be easier to moving back to Australia. But for the TAFE, it's still a little bit hard. Be honest, as Dani, because I have the same background with them, so I know how hard the students who study in the TAFE and if they're willing to stay in Australia, and how difficult for them to finding the right ways. So what I want is I want to give them the right way to let them to finding the right track to maybe join Australia, these good communities.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. I love that. So one of your motivations for Oakleaf is to smooth the path that you found quite difficult personally.
Yeah. Especially in China, it's got a lot of the students, they may be living in a lower middle class. But if they want to change their destiny, I'm thinking that Australia is a very good country to give them these opportunities, because I'm the one who changing the destinies.
This episode is proudly supported by OpenTable.
Nearly 1/3 of diners are booking same day. So they're making those decisions on the spot. And 10% are making their bookings within just a few hours. And so it's why it's so important to have booking software like OpenTable, which allows your diners to discover you. And so when restaurants are on platforms like OpenTable, they're much more likely to be discovered. We help diners to connect to restaurants. Ultimately, using technology helps you to reattach to those diners.
Experience the power of OpenTable. For an exclusive offer, visit restaurant.opentable.com.au/DITW.
So, Jimmy, I'd love to know a bit more about your story. Tell me about where you grew up and how you came to Australia.
Thanks, Dani. I came in Australia in 2002. I started high school in year 11. Once I finish my high school, I'm studying the manufacturing engineering in RMIT. Once I get to the year 2, my family have some financial problems, so I have to job to study the commercial cookery. So at that time, I had a very disappointed, because all the family, all the parents wants you get into higher educations, but they didn't really know about the how's different between the Australia and the China. So once I started in the commercial cookery and then finished my graduating, someone found me in the partnership to open the restaurant as a Sichuan restaurant. After 2 years, and I'm doing my own business as Okami in 2013. Until now, we have 40 restaurants.
Wow, that's really inspiring. So is your family background from Sichuan?
Yeah, my family background is very normal. Very normal.
But from Sichuan province?
No, my background, I'm born in Shanghai. why I'm doing a Sichuan restaurant, because one of the Sichuan restaurants, the chef, and finding me because I'm a hard worker. Once I started in the Taif, I got 3 jobs. The first job starting in the morning around 4:30, and for the newspaper delivery. The second job is from 9 o'clock to 4:30. I'm working the $2 shop. And the last job, what I do is in the restaurant. I'm doing the kitchen hand.
So how many hours sleep did you get?
Be honest, at that time, I roughly 70 hours a week.
70 hours working and a few hours sleeping?
Yeah. So for my life, it's only 2 things: work and sleep.
Wow, Jimmy, that's a tough road. So what was it that made you want to open Japanese restaurants?
That's kind of a very good opportunity. So once you want to do the right things, you have to choose the right things. I think the Japanese food, once I started in the cookery school, I'm finding the Japanese food is most similar food with the Australian food, because they always using the fresh materials, and it's a lot of different with Chinese.
Wow, that's so interesting. So you saw an opportunity.
Yeah, and also the Japanese food means healthy. I'm thinking that's a good for future as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so where did you open the first Okami restaurant?
I think 2013. I think the first restaurant opened in March.
And where was that one?
It's in Hampton.
Right. Amazing. So that's a really quick journey from 2013 to have one restaurant to having more than 40 restaurants, a decade later, not to mention a pandemic along the way. Are you surprised at how much it's grown?
Yeah, of course, it's quite a surprise for me as well. But be honest, it's not only me, as I got a group of my team to supporting me, so that's why we can work until now. And later on, we willing to open like over 100 the Okami, all close over the Australia.
Wow, it's exciting! I can't wait to watch you grow the business. So, Jimmy, what advice would you give? What would you say to a young student, perhaps coming from China like yourself, who is wondering how to make their way and make the most of the opportunities in Australia? What would you say to them?
And work hard and try to be nice to everyone. And I'm the person to get this benefit. Because of my family have some financial problems, my parents willing me to back to China because they don't have enough financial supporting to me. So at that time, my boss is helping me, they sponsor me. And most of the people heard this story, they say, "Oh, Jimmy, you must be a good guy." But I always say, as everyone treat me good, so they treat me as a good guy. Because everyone treat me well and they are kind to me, so let me become still a good guy.
Wow, that's such a nice attitude. I think that it must be reciprocated. I think you must have worked so hard and brought such good energy to their businesses that they treat you so well.
I think Australia is a fair country. They give all the people the same opportunities. So the problem depends you want to get or how hard you're willing to get. If you work hard, you definitely will get what you want. That's Australia.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Really inspiring to speak to you. Congratulations on the 48 locations of Okami, and huge congratulations on the founding of Oakleaf. I hope you not only train staff for yourself, but for other businesses around the country.
Thanks very much, Dani. Thanks to give us these opportunities.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.